need to find this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here at 444 Spirit Way. Oh, turn.
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time.
The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show. Hey, Kellee! How are you?
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, honey. How are you doing tonight?
Good, Kellee. How are you doing?
I'm doing
How
great.
you doing?
How you doing?
What is canned Prague? I just put canned Prague.
Oh my gosh! Did you have a good Thanksgiving? I know you
Had a nice Thanksgiving. Had some dog park people over, and it was really nice. Brought their kids through and went swimming, but swimming in a pool, which it was warm here. And yeah, it was really great. We had a really nice time. And my cousins are visiting from New York, so we're playing sevens a lot and having fun. Yeah, fun. How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was peaceful and beautiful, and everything you'd expect on a farm, including snow.
You had snow.
We
had a lot of snow. There was a storm going through your area.
Yes, and it was beautiful. It was just lovely. So I watched a lot of movies, and it was just honestly, James, peaceful.
Oh, that's great.
I loved every second of it.
That's great. And hello to people here. We have
hi, everybody. Hi, Toby. I love that, Toby. She says, I'm so excited. I look so forward to your shows. Thanks a million.
Great.
Honey.
Hi, Lori Phillips. Yes.
Hi, Kamakani from Hawaii. Thank you. Hi, Laurel.
Karen Bennett from Honolulu Falls, New York. Yes.
Wow. Hi, Renee Hounsel.
Hi, Renee. Hi, Karen.
Hi, everybody. Oh, it's Mrs. Shy Pro One. It's 2 a.m. in the UK. I automatically wake up every week just before you go live. How wonderful is that?
Great. Thank
you. Hi, Marge. Hi, everybody.
Patty. Hi, Mark. Wow. Regina, how are you? From upstate New York. Very good.
Wow. Well, that's sweet.
So tonight we have a very good show. Before we get that, though, you have a little astrology. Tonight is a very special night.
Tonight's a really special night, and I'm going to keep it really upbeat and positive because tonight we have an incredible full moon. And you know I'm talking about Vedic astrology when I do this. And tonight we have what's called the full frost moon in Taurus. And this is an amazing full moon. And I'm going to ask everybody.
Beaver moon.
Well, you can call it the beaver moon or we call it the full frost moon. Either one, James, works. But what's important about this moon is watch your energy, because with a full moon, if you are in a positive frame of mind, it will expand that. If you are in a negative frame of mind, it will expand that. So this particular full moon has such good positive energy. First of all, the moon is exalted in Taurus, which means it does really well in Taurus. And also it's in this wonderful celestial house, this nakshatra, called Rohini, and that is all about love and charisma and charm and passion and creativity. So this is a really wonderful full moon, and you want to keep your energy up. Now, on the one hand, I do want to say that Saturn is also squaring Saturn. So let's say you are having a rough time of it. With Taurus is very down to earth. So it's a great time to go inward and look at what you're feeling, look at it, think about it, and maybe do some work on it, because today's a really great day for that. But also, everybody, you know how you always ask me, is it a good day to put out your crystals? Yes, today is an excellent day to put out your crystals. Put out your crystals.
Kellee, a couple of questions I have, if you don't mind me interrupting.
Okay.
So the crystals can go out tonight, but 3 days, right? Tonight, tomorrow.
I would absolutely say, yeah. I'll say not 3 days, James, because the moon I would say another day and a half, because then the moon's going to change. And, the moon only stays for 2 days, 2.5 days in the same time.
What about people that have sun in Taurus? Is everything exalted?
Oh, it'd be so good for them. Yeah, today would be such a good day for you.
Or negative, right?
Well, if you are going down a negative road, then yes, it could
amplify that.
It would amplify that. But if you view it, even if you're going in a negative space, view it as, what are you learning today? Like what is life about for you? What are you learning? Don't beat yourself up. Just say, oh, I'm learning this. It feels this way, and just know that things constantly change. But here's the other thing with the moon. Tonight would be a great day to make some moon water. And, we've talked about that before, James.
Yes, I've made some. Yes.
You've made some. And it's really simple. You take a glass jar and it's for where I live, it's way too cold. So I couldn't put it outside. It would freeze. I think it's like 14 degrees tonight. But so no moon water outside. However, if you put it on a windowsill, this moon is so bright. The energy from that moon will infuse with your intentions. So set your intentions of what it is that you are looking for with this full moon to expand. What is it that you're wanting and needing and looking at? So set your intentions, put some moon water out, or make some moon water. And everybody was asking me, what do you do with this moon water? Well, I'll tell you a few things. You can drink it easily. You can put it in tea and boil some tea. You can water your plants. You can put it in a bath. You can just put it on you. It's really good energy.
Not to down you, but I just had a awareness of an earthquake in California, small one here in California.
Oh, just now?
A shake. I don't know if it happened just now, but I felt there was going to be a shake. So I think maybe this coming week, but I just felt a little.
Well, I didn't get.
I felt like
okay, that's
not really happening now, but coming up.
It would not surprise me, James, with you, because we do have a lot of other planetary shifts, like major shifts, that I will be talking about on my Thursday show, and I'll go through all of these major shifts that start tomorrow. Actually, that's why I was like, tonight is a great day. Let's use this positive energy, positivity.
And we have a very special guest tonight. And Kellee, you can introduce her.
I will, because we're so excited about having our special guest in. Let me get her information. Okay, here we go. So we have a great guest tonight, and her name is Irene Weinberg. And Irene is an author, and she also has a fabulous podcast. She wrote a book which really I just loved, called They Serve Bagels in Heaven. And she's going to tell us tonight about her story. But her podcast is called Grieving and Rebirth. And she took a really big trauma along with a big message she received from the other side. And she turned it into the most joyful positivity that there is. So I'd love to introduce her. And this is Irene. Would you please come out? Irene Weinberg.
You're right.
Hey, Irene.
Hi, Irene. Yay, welcome.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure, guys.
So glad to hear you tonight, that you're on. And gosh, can you tell us about your story?
Sure. I'll start from the beginning.
Okay.
I was a complete non-believer in anything having to do with spirituality. My husband and we were married. I'm going to tell you about my husband. We were married. We were second of marriage. We were married about 18 years. We thought it was hooey. It was ridiculous. I had a sister-in-law who was spiritual. We were hardly talking to her because she was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And guess who the joke was on?
Now, when you say spiritual, what do you mean by spiritual when you say that?
She was into believing that people go on after they die. She was, she was all of that.
Psychics and all that sort of thing.
And we thought she was crazy.
And your religion, your faith was?
I was a traditional Jewish person. Okay. I would go to a grave. I put like the custom says, you put the stone on the grave. Was anyone listening to me, James? I had no idea. I just said it because it was what you do.
Tradition. Right, the tradition.
Right? Yeah. So one day I'm washing dishes at my kitchen sink, and Saul was watching a chess game on TV in our family room. And I'm doing my thing, washing dishes, and all of a sudden a really strong thought came into my head, and it was not my thought. And it suddenly said to me, Saul has to go. Many lessons will be learned from his death. And
Which must have been a shock for you to hear.
I stopped at my kitchen sink and I thought, what the heck am I? And that wasn't the word I used, heck. I said, what the heck? What am I thinking over here? And I filled up a glass of water and I took it over to him. I kissed the top of his head, gave him the water, and I said to myself, this is nuts. And I thought I was going to put it out of my head, but you know that something like that, you never forget something like that. But I didn't say a word to Saul. I didn't say a word to anyone. I did not understand what this silly thing was, but it was weird. And then 2 months later, we were skiers, and we were skiers at Hunter Mountain in the Catskills. We had a ski house and all that, and we were coming home from a ski weekend.
And this was 1997.
1997. And the funny thing about this was, on the way to the ski house that Friday night, something told me to make this the best weekend Saul ever could have. I got this feeling, even if he wants to go to lunch with people you don't even like, go do it, whatever. And so we get into the car to go home, and he says to me, oh, two things I want to tell you. The night before this accident happened, he said to me, I just want you to know I'm so lucky and thankful to have you in my life. And he wasn't like he loved me and he would speak sweetly, but that was not a typical out of the blue thing he would say. And then the next day when we're getting in the car to go home, he said, wasn't this the greatest weekend a couple could have together?
Wow.
And I said to myself, well, I wouldn't have maybe had lunch with that couple, but I'm glad you had a good time. And we get in the car and we're driving for an hour and a half on the New York State Thruway. And I suddenly feel the car go into a huge swerve. And I looked over and Saul was sound asleep at the wheel. And we were going 72 miles an hour in the left-hand lane on the New York State Thruway.
Wow.
Right. And the car started going into a huge swerve. And I said, Saul, and he woke up and he saw what was happening. And he went to pull the car out of the swerve. And instead of pulling the car right, the car started to rise up in the air. It felt like I was in a gigantic roller coaster for the first of 4 flips. And as we took off for the first flip, another thought came in my head and it said, he's not going to make it. You are. Now you got to picture this. I'm like, we're flipping. So we flip once and I get that message. We come down, hit hard. I had 4 surgeries on my right side. We hit hard on the right side. We flip back up and we get to, if you're looking at a clock, like a 10 of to a 10 after, in that part of the flip, I suddenly left my body. I just saw blackness and I was like, what's happening here? What's happening? And then at the 10 after, I came back into my body. And I don't know if that was because at that moment he was going to the other side or what was happening, but we continued to flip and a third time and a 4th time. And we ended up on the side of the road, upside down, in a ravine, and the wheels are spinning. And I had been in a seatbelt, and I pulled myself up very tight, and I did not know yet how injured I was. And I looked over at Saul upside down, and I said, "Saulie, are you okay?" And I see, just like I was told, the whole essence of my husband is gone. He's there now. He's the beauty of his personality. I'm just looking at a body. That's it. And I get in that moment, oh my God, I got told he was going to go. Here it is. I was told he wasn't going to make it. Here I am. And just as I'm thinking about that, I see a helicopter land. And we held up traffic on the thruway for 2.5 hours. It was such a bad accident. And a helicopter landed, and these 3 EMTs jumped out of the helicopter. And they all were rocking my car to get it right side up. And one of them put his hands through my shattered window, undid my seatbelt, and started pulling me through the window. And as I'm sliding through the window, and Kellee, here it is, this unemotional male voice boomed into my head and said to me, "Be loving and kind to everyone," as they laid me on the side of the road. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that kind of changes your cells as they're multiplying. I mean, my husband's dead next to me, and I just been told to be loving and kind to everybody.
No, I have to, it begs the question, were you not prior to this?
Well, I thought I was, but this changed me, Kellee. I thought I was a very loving, good person, but I think what it did, it made me conscious.
Oh, yes.
I wasn't conscious in my life. You know, I was loving, I had been taught to be nice to people and all that, and I was a good person, but all of a sudden, I felt I was being given a directive from heaven, and I took it very seriously. So much so that instead of screaming for myself when my husband was gone, when they put me in the helicopter, I said to the EMTs, "What's your name? Bless you. I know it's the weekend before Christmas. Thank you for coming out and helping me." They take me on a gurney to an emergency trauma center. And I am so incredibly loving and kind to everyone. When the doctor came over to me and said to me, "I just need to tell you that your husband is gone," I said, Doc, I am the luckiest woman in the world that I had this man in my life.
Wow.
I mean, it was like unbelievable. And when the nurses came, what is your name? My stepdaughter came in when they told her father had passed, and to see me, she fainted right away, dead away. When they picked her up, my response was, I love you and I will never hurt you. And she said, I know. And she went running out of the room. It was unbelievable. It was so dramatic that 3 months after the accident, I got a call from the assistant to the surgeon who put 19 stitches in an artery in the bottom of my right foot. And she said 2 blood transfusions. And his assistant said to me, Irene, I called to tell you that you changed lives in the emergency room that night. We had never seen anyone. All you did was care about everyone who came near you. You weren't screaming for yourself. You were lauding the fact that you had love in your life and you appreciate him. And I said, Trish, I had a spiritual awakening that has changed my life, has changed everything about what I did. She said, you have no idea the impact you had, because these nurses and these people, they see it all. And they never saw anyone react the way you did.
It's like God gave you the football and you ran with it.
And I ran with it. So now I'm home with a wheelchair and 3 days in the hospital, wheelchair, cast on my leg, the whole shebang. And in the Jewish religion, you're sitting Shiva, so people are coming to visit you and all that jazz. Yeah. And I don't know what, and now I'm in grieving hell, of course, because I'm dealing with stepchildren and finances and all these things. But I know something is up. I just don't know what it is. And so 6 weeks after the accident, I was just out of my wheelchair. And the way I am, you can tell I talk to everyone. I'm like very friendly. So my dry cleaner called me. He said, Irene, I don't often tell people this, but you seem very open-minded. And I want to tell you that 8 years ago, my wife and I lost a son to a drug overdose, and we were inconsolable. And we went to see all these psychologists and grief experts and all. They couldn't help us until we went to a medium. And we've seen a few mediums, and they changed our life. Yep. And our son is on the other side. And we're going to see someone in 2 weeks. And I don't even want to tell you his name. He's going to be famous one day, we think. We've done a couple of videos for him. And if you want to join us in 2 weeks and go to what's called a gallery, you could. I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. I had no idea. So what did I do? I ran to a new spiritual center bookstore that had just opened. I walk into the store, and there on a big table, smack dab in the middle of the table, as I walk in, is Talking to Heaven.
1997.
1997.
Wow.
I said, I don't know what the hell this is, but I'm picking it up. I know something's coming down the pike, and I'm getting ready. And I study Talking to Heaven like it's like I'm in school. And when I walked in with my dry cleaner and my car was parked, I'm telling you for a reason, my car was parked 5 towns away. My dry cleaner drove me to this event at a hotel. The medium was John Edward. And one of the things he said to me was, your husband's telling me you were reading a very special book to prepare for tonight.
Wow. How
the heck could he know that? And the other thing he said was, and he's telling me you're driving his car, because mine was totaled, with Saul Z on the license plate.
Wow. Yeah.
My husband was, talk about evidence, right? My husband was a real estate developer in Hoboken, New Jersey. And the kids loved him so much that he sold condos to that they called him Uncle Saul Z. So he has Saul Z on his license plate. And 40 minutes worth of messages. And after that, who have I got to tell that I just connected with my husband? My wackadoo sister-in-law. I mean, I said, Carolyn, I got to tell you, I know I thought you were crazy, but you're not. And she said, thank God, because 2 weeks after the accident, Saul came through with messages for you about business, and I didn't know how to tell you. And I saw a change in you when I came to visit you in the hospital that knocked my socks off, and I did not know what it was about. So now I'm out in the world. Now I'm a believer, but I can't tell anyone in my world that I'm doing this because they'll think I'm cuckoo. So I
Irene,
don't tell
let me
anyone.
interrupt Irene for a second. What would you remember the date of your accident?
December 21st, 1997.
Okay, because I was on Larry King December 7th. The premiere of the book
Oh,
was that.
wow. Oh, wow. So see that? Look at that, James.
So that's when my girlfriend saw you
Yeah.
at Larry King, and
this is
I got
wild.
the book. And I
Okay,
got the book. That's the whole story was when you did that. That James, when you came out with Talking to Heaven, which by the way never leaves my side,
Right?
just for
I have
the
one
record,
too.
it changed everybody's life. It was
Well,
so
that's
important, James.
why I came in, I think.
And you talk about synchronicity, James. For me to walk into that store, and it was right smack dab in the middle, like as I walked in, there it was. And I was so shell shocked and traumatized with everything going on. And I said, all right, because now I'm starting to have faith. This is it. And I grab the book and I buy the book.
Well, a year before that, in Hoboken, New Jersey, John Edward and I did the Charles Grodin show in Hoboken, New Jersey. Right, a year before that, right there. That's funny too. Just
Charles Grodin?
Charles Grodin show. Yeah,
I loved him.
he was great. He was really, really great, and John was great, and we had a really great time with that show, and it was just wonderful experience. But
That was great.
Wow.
I don't know if he still does it, but John said to me that night that he was channeling, Saul. He said, how long is this guy on the other side? And I said, 2 months. He said, this guy's been around the block a lot. This guy, he said, he's so articulate. He's knocking me out. And of course, I'll continue to say how I channeled Saul, and I found out we are indeed. We've been around the block many times, but it was amazing. So now I'm starting to open up to this world, and I'm going to mediums all over the place, and no one in my world knows that I'm doing this.
Wait, you got too fast. Hold on. After he passed over and you saw John and then something else happened, did Saul appear to you or you hear him at all before you went to the mediums?
No.
Okay.
I knew nothing. I believed in nada, nothing. Okay. I was a blank slate. Right. So now I'm starting to see these people, and there's a message that comes through every single person. First of all, Saul described his toast to me through someone. The first meal I ever made him through someone. The first way anything he could say, what he was wearing the night he died, anything he could do to say, honey, it's me, I'm here. And then I started getting a message that there was a divine plan, that I was supposed to write a book. Yeah. And then I was supposed to do more. And he was going to work with me from across the veil. And I'm like, what? I played the violin growing up. I was a buyer for Macy's. I helped him in the real estate business. I took honors English, but what book is this? But if a man comes through describing his toes to you and every other thing, I started working with a woman who helped me channel him. And I started asking questions about, are there soulmates? What goes on? What happens when people are evil? What was your experience crossing over? And he has still has an amazing sense of humor. And one of the things he told me was that when he crossed over, you know how you get a situation where you guys know better than anyone, where you get acclimated to the other side before you get your life review. His acclimation was his mother served him bagels in heaven.
Perfect. That's perfect.
I love that.
Perfect.
That's what, and then he talked, he explained his life review and what he went through and all of that. So now I'm out there and I'm channeling. I channeled this book and I got irrefutable, again, another story, proof that it really was Saul. And if I have a minute, I'll tell you that too, because I was skeptical. I was always skeptical. And I started working with this woman. Again, I've been recommended to her and all this jazz. And he's coming through. And then there was a day, and I always had a little bit of skepticism until the day she was Methodist, and she'd never heard a word of Hebrew in her life. And she was telling me that she was getting information about a past life we had where I was a little boy, and he was a rabbi in an ancient yeshiva in a school in Israel, eons ago. And she said, I'm asking your name or his name or something, and I'm getting a very strange name. He keeps saying that you were a good little boy. You were a good little boy in that yeshiva. And she said, I'm hearing something that sounds like Yellow Tov. And I said, oh my God, Yellow Tov is Hebrew for a good little boy.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God. So that was a giveaway for me that this was real. So now I'm out there. I'm out with the book. I'm doing my thing. I'm meeting with groups. I have, it's doing well. And then one day I'm sitting right here And I don't get all these messages, right? I got the 3 amazing messages around the accident. And I'm sensitive to signs and all, but I'm not hearing that way. And I suddenly get the word podcast came into my head. And I said to this woman I was working with, what's a podcast? I'm a baby boomer. I had no idea. She's, oh, I can help you do that. So now I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're telling me my next step is to start a podcast. Okay, I guess I'm supposed to interview people. Who am I going to interview? And I thought, you know what? I could not have, I've always been a believer in healing. I had a tough childhood. I went to therapy. I did all these things. And now that Saul died, I had started work, and now I'm getting spiritual. I was working with an energy healer. I was going to mediums. So I said, you know what? I'm going to interview grieving trauma specialists, healers, mediums, and people who have been through really, like I did, really tough times in life and healed and transformed their lives, to let people know that you can do that. And it has been the most, I tell people, I know that this podcast is on the wings of angels, because so many people are reaching out to me that it's changing their lives. And I'm teaching them through the interviews, like I did with Tammy. Did anyone know that you could communicate with deceased animals? Did I ask all these questions to educate people and enlighten them as to what is possible if you can let go of your pain, let go of your trauma, heal your stuff? And it's just been the most amazing experience. And
what makes you so interesting is that you had no belief, which I just love. I mean, you're the perfect person for this.
I mean, nothing. And I tell people when I interview, and people, I had none. But I kept getting told over and over, the proof kept coming in over and over that this was real and that he's with me. And yes, I absolutely know, I mean, that he is, and that he's working with me with this. And it's I'm going to tell you, I'm so grateful for it also.
What year did you start your podcast?
The podcast is only about 3.5 years old, James.
Okay, wow! But you've reached a lot of people.
It is reaching. I'm in 37 countries with it.
That's amazing. Think of the lives you're touching. Really, that's incredible.
I mean, and I am the mission of the podcast, and I'm very clear on it. The mission is to educate, like me, who believed in nothing and knew nothing. I have people who listen who don't even know that they have a soul. I mean, I'm educating people. I'm enlightening people, because I also have people who are very sophisticated in the spiritual world, and they can always learn more. And I'm giving people healing choices. I am so passionate about that. Whether your healing comes from a medium, or somebody who specializes in energy healing, or someone who's a grief counselor, bless them all. We are all part of the collective. We're all working to help people. Whoever you can listen to. I also get emails now. Can you recommend so-and-so and so-and-so? Here's my problem. And I'll say, listen to these interviews. I ask very deep questions and see what resonates with you. Who is your healer? Who do you want to go to? That's not for me to choose. I'm the bridge.
Right.
So this is what's been going on. It takes me aback. I'm so humbled by it.
I'm going to ask you a question, Irene, which is really interesting for me, I think. And you step back now and you meet somebody who has no belief like you, or think it's all hooey. What do you say to them?
I met a couple like that tonight. What I say to them, they think I'm crazy. So you know what? I don't get uptight, because I know they'll find out when they cross over.
Yes.
Or in their time. Yeah.
In their time. And look at how long it took for me to get hit on my head a few times for me to get it. I can't judge them that they don't know. And I can only hope that maybe I'm role modeling something for them or whatever, but that's their journey.
Or when something happens with them, they will reach out to you. They put that information away.
They have a solid memory of it. They really do remember it, especially they'll retain it if they need to when the time is right. Plant the seeds, and when the time is right, it'll it'll
Exactly.
grow.
Exactly. And the other thing I want to say is when they pulled me out of the car, aside from the be loving and kind to everyone message that I got, Saul was buried on my son's 21st birthday.
Oh,
And I said to myself at the time, I have to role model. I'm going to heal however I can because I have to role model that you can get hit by a grenade in life and come out of it. And my son said to me 4 years after the accident, Mom, there's been nothing worse than seeing you in total despair and nothing better than seeing you be able to have joy again. And that is my North Star for the podcast. I want people to heal so that they can feel joy again.
I so agree with that. So
Beautiful.
agree with what you just said with your
Beautiful.
son. That's just perfect.
And
that people can overcome and they can move on and they can experience joy.
Absolutely. And if you're grieving, you can still experience joy too. It's okay. We give you permission. One is not exclusive of the other. But that's why I'm so passionate about getting people to heal however it is. Because why do you need to carry that backpack filled with your grudges and your problems and your troubles that actually color your whole life?
Very true.
If you let it go, you let in so much space for happiness and joy in your life.
Well, James, that's the work that you could do even forever. Forever about this.
It's important what you said. Like if you give them that space, you get more space. Love expands. And fear, brings it limits us, and it's just so true. It really is so true. But people have to have, I guess, I don't know, believing in themselves and having that awareness of something within themselves, that spark in their soul. I think that it really matters. And sometimes it takes a tragedy like that for them to open up and to look at life in a different way. Sometimes they hit over the head for them to really realize.
It was my case. In my case, I had a traumatic brain injury.
Yeah.
I mean, I really did have a head hit in the head.
Irene, do you teach? Do you teach? Do you channeling work? Do you have sessions now with people? What are your sessions like if you do? And
I don't actually do sessions when I am doing, but I'm getting invited to do a lot of events and tell my story.
Great.
And I'm doing a lot of summits, and I'm doing a lot, and I'm actually thinking about having a series where I would call master teachers to have something on, because I have so many people now who are coming to the podcast as a source. I'm thinking of having some kind of master teaching series to help people become more enlightened. That's in the ethers. I'm thinking about that.
If anyone can do it, you can, Irene. If anyone can do it, you can.
Thank you, James. I'm actually writing another book there too. And the new book I'm writing is about, so many people admire me because I'm well into my 70s and I'm doing this dynamic stuff. There's nothing low maintenance. Nothing.
Yes.
And I'm doing this stuff, and I am writing a book about people's dynamic third chapters. And I'm having people contribute their own chapter about what are they doing with their lives, and it's going to be called Good to the Last Drop.
That's great.
That's so perfect.
Because I find what's happening is a lot of people are saying I'm becoming a role model for them.
And I'll tell you why. You're easy to listen to, and you also have this ability, your story. Everybody can understand a story like this. You're driving, first of all, you get a message, then you're driving, and then this accident. I mean, you're immediately pulled into the story of it. And then what happens to you is so extraordinary, and it changed your life, and your energy is changing other people's lives.
Exactly
with this.
right.
I mean, it's you and Saul would have planned this really well on the other side. There was everything you planned.
It's you're genuine, Irene. I mean, that right away. Your integrity, your genuineness, you're down to earth. You're so real. I think people relate to that. They can, they really.
I'm getting that, James. Thank you very much for that. And thank you, Kellee, because a lot of people are saying they love the way I interview, that they love the way, because I'm heart-centered. Yeah. I'm not doing it. There's no, I got given this wonderful job. And the other thing is that I think that I tell people is I chose to have faith and go with the messages. Someone else might have chosen to become the grieving widow, and that's her job, and that's her spot the rest of her life. And if that's what she needs to do, God bless her. but I chose to listen to the messages and to take a chance and to believe and to have faith. And this is amazing what is happening. I'm here tonight. Look at how the blessing I get to talk to you two tonight. It's just amazing.
What I love too is the voice, the sound of the voice. Like you said, it was a very male, distinct voice that you heard. I too had the same experience where I heard a male voice that said to me, Kellee, get up now. Go call the doctor. You've had a head injury now.
That's amazing.
And I remember saying, well, and the only thing I can tell you, it was God. That's the only thing I know. And I said, well, God, I'll never get in to see him. He's too busy. And God said, get up now. And then I felt a hand under my butt and just lift me up to make that phone call. And it was literally the hand of God. So when you talk about that like strong male voice, that's what I heard as well. And I knew, and there was no question that when I heard God tell me, you will see him today, even though this man was booked for months, I said, when I called to make that appointment, and they said, oh, Kellee, he's booked. And I said, oh, he's going to see me today. And then they said, oh, no, Kellee, it's not possible. And I said, well, when he has a cancellation, and he will, I said, you make sure to have my number and call me. And I live 2 hours away from this doctor. And so then God, the same voice, said to me, go wash your hair, get up, and drive. And I got in the car. I did what I had the faith. I had to just do what I was told here. And I did. In 5 minutes before I got to his office, they called and said, he just had a cancellation. Can you be here in 5 minutes? Which I would have been impossible for me. So I know that voice, and I listened to.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
Kellee,
no, it changed my whole life.
You were a skeptic also?
She wasn't skeptical, but she was very rational, very critical, and very left brain, very analytical.
I was a single parent, and I had a major job. I was a vice president of a large corporation. I didn't have time for this nonsense. Right. And yet I know what I knew. My soul knew.
Your soul knew. Your soul was trying to tell you from the beginning of birth. But the left brain took over, and she had a struggle between those two. It's
a constant struggle. Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah.
No, right. No. But the other thing I think about is when we find our soul path, we three are blessed to have found our soul path.
So true.
And it changes, for me, it has so enhanced my life, and there's a freedom there where I meet a lot of people who come out, who listen to the podcast because they don't know yet who they are or what they're meant to do or whatever. That's why all these people I interview, someone can help you with that. But it makes such a difference in your life.
I have a question for you. Did you, when you went through this, did you lose a lot of friends, family, Tell me about that.
Well, in the beginning, Kellee, in the beginning, because I told nobody.
Okay.
I didn't lose it. But then when I started getting a little brave, one person actually said to me, my soul wouldn't talk like that. What are you talking about? And then the other thing that happened to me, I was widowed. And just for those listening, I had a few people who suddenly changed their relationships with me because they were very strongly guarding their precious husbands. They were thinking, now that I'm widowed, I must be coming after them. Or I want to say, are you kidding? But
I've heard that so many times from people. Yeah.
But on the as I started coming out, yes, my friendships changed. Yeah. I started meeting people that were more aligned with me. And the other thing that I've learned, and I tell people, is from this world that I've gotten now with so much faith and so much wisdom. When they pulled me out of the car and they said, be loving and kind to everyone, that includes me. Yeah. That means I don't have to be attached to toxic people in my life.
Exactly.
That means I can take care of myself.
That's right.
That means I can practice self-love, because whatever I do for myself enhances myself so that I can help others.
It's true.
I used to be the major people pleaser of the world. No.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
No.
Yeah.
No. Now
that's such a positive.
Helping people who I can, and like you said, if people are resistant to the message or whatever, or they're very toxic, I say, I bless you. and I detach.
Yeah.
I don't have to carry a drama. I don't have to carry any of that. It changes your whole perception about everything.
Well,
I want to jump in if I could just ask you something. I want to make a statement actually from what you said before, and I know Kellee probably feels the same way. But for me, it's not necessarily mediumship. I mean, I could talk to dead people, that's fine. But for me, it's when you change someone's life in that their mindset changes, or you see that little the light go above their head, and they realize there's a whole bunch more to ourselves in the spirit world and what life is about. That to me is worth everything. Changing those people, and you have to remember that your message not only touches one person, but that person will tell someone else, they'll tell someone else. There's a rippling effect, which you got to understand, right? You got to honor that rippling effect that you're touching so many lives and illuminating the world.
It's amazing. Can I read something to you guys? Do you have a minute?
sure.
Can I read something to you?
Yes.
Because I just got this testimonial that you guys are so going to resonate with. And this is what you're doing. It's exactly what you're talking about and what I'm doing. And it just blew me away. So here's the message. About 4 years into my end of doula work, I realized that I wanted to continue to help families after their loved ones had died. I became a certified grief educator and have been co-leading bereavement groups as a volunteer. Several years into this work, completely serendipitously, now we know there are no accidents, right, guys? I was listening to your podcast, which I've always been a big fan of, and your guest that day was Cherokee Ilse. At the end of she happens to specialize in infant death for people who have stillborns and all of that. She said at the end of the podcast, Cherokee shared her cell phone number and I reached out to her. Our conversation affirmed that this was the work I needed to do. I trained with Cherokee for 7 months online and in person in Pittsburgh. Cherokee is the pioneer in the field of perinatal bereavement, and although there are other training programs available, I knew hers would be the gold standard. Upon becoming certified, I contacted Holy Name Medical Center with a proposal for a perinatal bereavement program. The goal being to support families through perinatal loss to help their babies and spend the short time they have together making precious memories to last a lifetime. It is my honor to do this work, and I feel called to it in a way like nothing else in my life. I became a member of the staff 1 year ago, and now I work in the labor and delivery unit. I want you to know the power of your podcast and your wisdom and how it has changed my life and the families I have been honored to serve.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
Wow.
When I got that, I cried.
What an honor, I
Oh my
bet.
God.
Yeah.
It's
And James,
extraordinary.
for you, that's what it's all about, right?
What it's all about, changing lives. And just think of how many people get these experiences and don't see them for what they are, and they miss out on this. You know what I mean, Kellee? They miss out on it.
Oh, yeah. People do miss it.
They get to the other side, they go, oh my God, it's such an opportunity there. There was a divine opportunity, and I didn't look at it, or I didn't see it because I was so into my, whatever it was, fear.
My own grief, or my own fear, or my own belief system.
So this gives everybody, Irene, this gives everybody watching this and hearing this, a sense of, wow, I got to check in with myself, and there's a higher meaning to my life, and I got to look at that and be open to that.
Right. And if you don't know, there are people who can help you to figure that out.
Right. It's
true. And give your life such meaning and purpose and such a direction. I live in a mid-rise building, and I see people who are aging, and they seem to be aging with the expectation that all they have left to do is get sick and die. They're not believing they're going to cross over or anything. And I say, how sad. Your lives could be so filled with meaning.
Yeah, so true.
And the other thing that's come through this for me, and I know you guys relate to this, is my relationships are very precious, and I'm very conscious about my relationships.
Yeah.
I do not sweat the small stuff. It is not worth it.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
I totally agree with that. Wow. Wow.
Well, how can people hear your podcast? Where is it? Is it everywhere?
Well, it's everywhere, and it's on YouTube. It's also on YouTube, like you guys, and it is. And you guys are going to be an episode of the podcast. I'm really excited about this.
Oh, that would be great.
I'm featuring you in an episode,
Okay.
and I am at ireneweinberg.com, and you can find out all about me, all about the podcast, all about the book. but I'm also anywhere you get your podcasts, anywhere, YouTube, whatever. I'm spread everywhere. It's like
I
amazing.
love your energy. You are just amazing.
Thank you.
You're really incredible.
I mean, when
I'm
you
so
get your
blessed.
when you finally get your life purpose and you finally are doing exactly something like that, it's just, you're infused with energy, aren't you? Constantly,
am.
because it's such a good feeling to be able to do what you're doing.
I wake up in the morning, I say, thank God. I'm so blessed. I mean, look at what I get to do. Look at today. Look at what I got to do. Look, I was looking forward to tonight. I was like, this is such a gift. I'm so excited and happy and blessed. Do I have caca happen at times? Do I
Of course, yeah.
deal with poop like everybody else? Of course. But when you have a different perspective like this,
Yeah.
Don't you agree? It puts that stuff
Totally
in a different category. You say, okay, actually, if I'm going through something very tough, I'll go, all right, what am I supposed to learn from this?
Right.
How am I going to learn from this, and how am I going to move forward with this? Or if I'm even interacting with my grandchildren these days, I'm very conscious of how I'm talking to them and what I'm saying. I have another story. I was, for a little while I was getting into this world, I was working with a medium. I was actually a business manager for a medium. And you could see my personality. I opened up 3 territories for this person. You see the way I am. And so, so one day and I know you've experienced this. One day we walked into a hotel, and it was a totally different state. I knew no one there. Someone had asked us to come. And as we were walking in, this young woman and I know both of you are going to identify with this young woman was wailing, hysterical, in the front row, crying and everything. And the medium walked over to her and she said, I see a male energy, and it's feeling like your father. And he's telling me the night before he unexpectedly died, you two had a horrible fight and you said terrible things to each other. And he wants you to know how sorry he is, and he's coming through apologize. The difference in that young woman, pre that reading and after, and I tell people what I learned from that, is be so careful how you speak to your loved ones in your life, and you speak to people in your life, because that follows you to the other side.
Oh, yeah.
I often say words, are like bullets, and they'll go right to the target, and they stay there. So it's really important that we be aware of the words that we use, expressions we use, how we act, what we're sending out with thoughts. It's really, really important. Very much so. There's a footnote to your story. Have you ever thought, you have, but the thought of that Saul and you, that is divine connection, that was kind of a destiny, that he go to the other side and help you work from that side of life, and you're going to be in this side of life, and he's helping you to open you up even more, and maybe he's bringing your team together from the other side, which I really believe that's what it is.
I absolutely believe that.
Right? And you couldn't do this work without that experience, obviously.
Absolutely not.
And
I put in the order, James, for champagne when I come over. When I cross over, we're going to celebrate.
I'll have more than champagne.
I'll take the champagne, and I take the bagels too. Renee Hounsell has a question. She says, this is for you, Irene. She says, has Saul come through to work with you to help other widows and widowers connect with their spouses in spirit?
There have been times when I've had readings with mediums that he has come through with advice about different things that is going on. And he's working with me all the time. If I have a question, I can communicate with him. I can't hear him the way you guys hear, but I communicate with him through a pendulum. Wow, is he busy? He comes through like gangbusters with that, and I can ask questions and he answers those questions. And if I'm really a little bit stuck, I am very happy to consult with a medium and say, I'm so busy with the podcast. I am so booked with interviews. I don't look for an interview. People are constantly approaching me. Can I please be on your podcast? So I'm constantly working on that. So I don't really have time to hone those skills. So it's not I'm not proud. I'm happy. I can call and say, hey, I'd like an appointment. And I want to hear from my guy.
Have you seen him in your dreams?
Yes, he's come through in my dreams. And I'll tell you the other thing. He's got a great sense of humor. And this is a sign you two have never experienced. And I promise, even James Van Prague has never talked to anyone about this sign. So I was after the accident, I took all my courage and I went on a cruise by myself to the Hawaiian Islands, and I met a man there, and we started to date. And he's from England, and he came to visit me in New Jersey, and he walks in my door, and Saul was known for this very unusual cologne that no one else had. It was called Joop. And all the women in Hoboken would come out. He was a real estate developer. So the women would come up, oh, Saul, you've got the greatest smelling neck. You're so wonderful. And I'd say, honey, hug them, sell property, whatever, but bring the goods home to mama, please. But anyway, I said to him, so what does this guy do? Irene, I don't know. Renee, he called me. Renee, I don't know what it was, but I got to the customs area and I felt a pull to this part of the counter. And I felt like I had to buy this cologne just to wear with you. And it was Saul's cologne.
Wow.
And I said, you buster, you want to tell me you're around me? Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Well, often they will help find somebody for you.
Yeah, I'm sure Saul's working on that.
Wow.
Working on it. They keep telling, well, what I get is you're outgrowing people as fast as we can send them to you. You know,
What happened to the guy from England?
well, he turned out to have a bit of an alcohol problem.
That
I
could be a
hate when
problem.
that happens.
Yeah, it could be a problem.
That turned out to be a problem because when he started imbibing a little too much, there was behavior that
But you know
was
what,
not up
Irene?
my alley.
You know, also, sweetheart, you know, with you and with a lot of us in this world, your vibration is so high, you know, that energy, and you have to meet someone on that mindset, that energy level, because not many people can, you know, be on that same level. So, but Saul will work on it. I'm sure Saul and the
They'll work
team
on
are
it.
working on it when it's the right time. Yeah.
There you go. Whatever, you know, James, with everything else, I just keep the faith. If it's meant to be, it'll be. If it's not meant to be, he'll hear from me when I cross over.
These things have a way of working out.
Yes. But you know, but I'm very, very happy. I'm very grateful. I'm just always so grateful for how this has turned out and what's going on, because it's not about me. It's just I'm a vehicle. I feel I'm a vehicle, and I'm helping a lot of people. And I mean, when you see a testimony like this, and many others are coming through like that, it's amazing to me. It's just
Are you
amazing to
working
me.
with people, do you find, that are in their 70s now? More? Or
I have the whole gamut,
the whole gamut?
Kelly. The part that really surprises me is a lot of the people who listen to the podcast are in their 30s and 40s.
That's great.
Wow.
It's
That's
like
great.
they're younger.
So then
and
maybe they would influence their parents or their grandparents. Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of comments about the, you know, you're changing my viewpoint about things, and I just, you know, I like I did with Tammy. I had the most wonderful interview with her, and I research. I'm not like somebody who gets on and spends 2 minutes. I research the person and what they're doing and how they're helping people for 4 or 5 days before I get that interview the way I want it to be, because in my mind, I want to hone them for what they can do to help people and how they can help the people who are listening to the podcast, so that people will reach out to them and they can help. I am a full on, if you can help people listening, please, I'd love to talk with you. If you're a healer, whatever you're doing, let's find out what you can do to how you can help people and encourage people. Every time I see a road rage, I hear about road rage accidents and all, I go, those are people who haven't healed their stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I got someone for you who you can help to drop all that stuff. Oh,
It's so true. I have what we would call a toolbox, you know, of different people I can contact, or different people, or different information for people, because I'm all about information. I love to give people information to see what they'll do with it too. I mean, some people take it, some people don't, but you know, James and I always try to make sure they have a lot of education.
that's what I'm doing. I mean, because I relate to where I was. And
Oh,
my
yeah.
attitude is, you don't have to get hit on the head and bounce 4 times in a car to get this message. If I can do it and help people in a much more benevolent kind way to get this information to them, I'm really thrilled to do it. I'm just
Right.
so thrilled. And I also recommend people's books. I recommend, I'm the full gamut of trying to help people. I had a summit of my own, James, about 2 years ago, and it was about ascension. I wanted one of the passions that I have is about helping people to evolve and ascend, because we are going into a fifth dimension, and things are changing on the planet. So I'm trying to help people to understand that. But I'm not.
It's a high-minded Aquarius that you are.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Irene. It's been really incredible having you on the show, and really informative and really healing for all of us.
Thank
really.
you.
Oh
Thank
my
you so much.
gosh.
It's my honor, honestly. Thank you.
Glad you were with us. And James, now you tell us about, don't you have right now a 50% sale
I
going?
do. It's a big deal. Yeah, it's a 50% sale. My school, the JVP School of Mystical Arts, I've taken 2 of the original courses that form my school that are most popular. And the most, I guess you get out of it's a psychic certification course, and it's a mediumship 1 course. And it's 50% off because it's Cyber Monday. And I want to do something that, gives people back that they can do that. And it's 45 videos per course, and it's a lot of stuff on there. So go to my school and you can see that.
And how long does that sale go on?
It's only like this week. So it's till Wednesday, I think it is. Wednesday or Thursday.
But I want to tell both of you, because I'm making this an episode on the podcast. If you have anything to promote or anything you want people to know, just let me know, and I will absolutely include it. It is
Thank
my
you,
pleasure.
Irene.
That's so sweet. Thank you.
Kellee, what do you have going on?
Thursday I've got Ask Me Anything. So Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time, join me for Ask Me Anything, and I'll be going all through the astrology of December. And then James, you and I in a couple of weeks are going to be doing our predictions for 2024.
Oh, I would love to do that.
Yes. And then also I want to tell everybody December 9th, I'm doing a special with Gordon Smith and 20 other mediums. We're doing it's a special for parents who heal, helping parents heal.
I interviewed Gordon.
Yep, Helping Parents Heal, and it's so you can go on to Helping Parents Heal website, and there are over 20 mediums, and each medium is going to be 3 readings per person. So we're going to split it all up. So if you're interested, go to Helping Parents Heal.
That's a wonderful organization.
It's a great organization, so it's a benefit for them. So if anyone's interested, yeah. And then December 1st, this Friday, I'm doing Evening of Spirit Messages right here on Zoom. I'm doing Evening of Spirit Messages this Friday, and we still have some room left, and it's going to be fun and different exercises, readings. End of the year kind of fun stuff, and I'll be on for a while.
That's so wonderful.
Yeah.
I want to hear your predictions for 24. I really don't want to miss that.
A lot of them come true. It's really interesting. I think we called COVID. We got that. We didn't call it COVID. It was something we
got a lot. In fact, even you said at the beginning of this year, we talked about a war coming up. We covered a lot of things. Yeah. So it'll be a great show. So thank you so much, Irene, for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everybody, for your wonderful thoughts and words and being here. And Renee, thank you for
thank you, Saul.
Thank you, Saul, for bringing this lady to us. Oh my goodness.
Don't be surprised if you see him again, James. Now he knows you.
Yeah.
Should I be afraid? I'm not sure. I don't. If I see a bagel in a strange place, I'll know it's him.
All right.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, James.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.